What's poppin', y'all? Watch us both die. Oh no, I cannot watch us both die. Listen to some music just playing in the background. I'm not sure if you can really hear it or not. First of all, let's establish we worship kitties. First of all, let's establish we're understandable. We out here worshiping pussy. No, I'm kidding. I don't know what that means, but understandable. Vans, boom, 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 boom. Mr. Sandman, yes, bring us a dream. Bringing the cutest that I've ever seen. Boom, 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 boom. I'm listening to Mr. Sandman right now through my dad's speaker. Right now, my parents are on vacation, which is pretty great. I'm gonna see them for a whole week. The house is to myself and my brother, which my brother's annoying as shit for the most part, so that kind of sucks. But we won't kill each other. So boom, 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 boom. Mr. Sandman, bring me a dream, make him the cutest that I've ever seen. How's it going? Just another YouTuber on the subjective level, even though I imagine it's not that pleasant given, the nature of life in general. But but you never know. Saw you in Do Not Watch a Stream. They're just wasting time with religion. Pretty much they are. Just kind of wasting their time with religion. I was on there until D&D started, and then I had to play that which was fun. Awesome. I tried to play that for a little bit today. So I ducked out of that stream around 1:15 my time. But yeah, it was interesting. I like to try to espouse my beliefs and, try to convert people to efilism whenever I can, stuff like that. But people don't typically really jibe with me. They either doubt that I'm a psychopath in general and all that stuff, which is fair, or which I doubt I'm a psychopath also. So it's like, not diagnosed yet. But hey, who knows? Brighter than the sun, and I can't say it. I'm asking me to say I can't escape your rainbow night. Sleep all day, brighter than the sun, and then one day, all the things that the people say, all the things that the people say, the people say, the people say, whoa. I mean, I enjoy being on Do Not Watch a Stream. They're always having interesting conversations, kind of. Do Not Watch is a little bit of a controlling attitude, but he's really liberating today. He was just letting people talk, so I was like, mad respect. But sometimes he has a little bit of a control attitude. But again, I'm me, so I always like to be in control, so who knows. Pretty much, man. I can only pretty much stand ethilists and antinatalists. Being an antinatalist get on my nerves because they're deontological in their nature a lot of times. And that can get really annoying fairly fast if you're just like, what about this? And they're like, no. And you're like, well, that doesn't make any sense. Why not? And they're like, because. And they don't have a reason for it. So, people say, the people say, whoa. Listen to Brighter Than the Sun by Brick and Mortar. But yeah, these untruthers, as you call it, the people that are like everywhere around us, yeah, they fucking suck, man. It's really annoying. Every day. Every day. And sunshine. Brighter than a burn, I've been away. Of all the things that the people say. Of all the things that the people say. The people say. The people say. Whoa. I mean, I don't know how you are friends with them because I'm a psychopath, my friend. I can be friends with anybody. It's the perks of being a psychopath. You just meld with anything. I'm not like this. Yeah, it's fair. Most psychopaths are a small portion of the population, so we can't really deny. Why are you friends with them? Because they provide entertainment. Some of my friends are, well, it depends on the friend group you're talking about. Some of them provide entertainment. Some of them are good people. A person was like a person's dead now. Some of them are just decent to hang out with because I like them and I want to convert them to efilism as well. And they're willing to talk to me in those subjects. And they're also friendly and better than most people, comparatively speaking. Uh, my friends I hang out with better than most people, comparatively speaking. And, they're friendly to me and willing to, since like I've been friends with them since like childhood, a lot of my friends. And other ones are, either enjoyable to hang out with or enjoyable to hang out with plus sexually attractive. So I'm like, oh, whoa, yeah. But when it comes down to it, I have my motivations to hang out with them and I have my reasons. It's not just like no reason at all. I have beneficial reasons for hanging out with everybody I hang out with. When I wake up from a dark, dark daydream, nothing can wake me from. I would not even send my religious cousin. It's a problem when people are different than you with a different goal. It creates problems. I mean, you're right, but that's kind of the thing with human nature is we're social creatures, so you can kind of just understand that you can find ways of jiving people. I'm friends with Trump supporters and stuff, bro. I'm really friends with like every dynamic of people. It's because I'm a psychopath, one, but people aren't a lot that different from each other when it comes down to it. So if you don't like one person, you're probably not like a lot of people. And if you don't like an average person, you're not gonna like a lot of people, like a lot of people. Which makes sense because a lot of people are really shitty on average. But at the same time, I can kind of flow with most people. The only reason I like these people is because I had a predisposition to liking them before I got into philosophy. If I would have met them nowadays, I wouldn't be friends with them. But that's a different case though, because you have historical friendships and stuff of that nature. I can bring up the friendships tier list thing to. I can help you out, home slice. Here you go. We're gonna share my screen. Bump. We're gonna go to fucking wrist just middle clickety snap noise. Adorable. Playlist for activism. relationships, family. Well, we're gonna click this guy's channel, Flagship Academy, and then we're gonna click on his relationships friend video. Hopefully, it'll pop up in the.
Hello, welcome to Black Sheep Academy. This is our topic called relationships, and we have a chapter in it called family.
Well,
Now,
yeah.
we
First, we're
know
gonna watch
family
family,
cannot be
cause
told
why
to you in one
not?
video.
But
There's
I'm
an
gonna
endless thing
find
of
the
love,
friends
hate,
one.
trauma, blah, 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 blah. But I'm just going to go through the
Subscribe to
basics,
this guy. It's
okay, so that you
he's
understand it.
he's an
And then, of course, you
awesome
can come here
lad.
and we can have mega debates about it and understand it psychologically and understand it personally and in all kinds of, in all different manners. So let's go through what family is. Basically, what is the definition of family,
Oh, I
right?
would totally
Some
have didn't know
Most people
Hitler.
would say
I
it's
mean, I
blood.
would want to shoot
Okay,
him the
so
whole
if
time
someone
because my
is
principles, but I
related to
would
you, then yes, they are
probably have a
family.
lovely
Okay,
conversation with
so
him.
often you
You
do not
know,
have an
I'm just
option when it
saying,
comes to
as
family.
what's the
But
perks of being a
some people would
psychopath?
say
You could
friends
have
are
a
family. Vin
conversation
Diesel
with
would say friends are
Gandhi,
family.
Hitler,
And an awful probably
Stalin,
would say friends are family because he does
uh,
not actually have any blood relatives.
literally
There are,
anybody,
but
and
family
you would just be like
essentially is
vibing
what you
either
call it.
way.
It's
You'd
just a
want to
term,
kill a lot
right?
of
It's
them,
a term
but
of
you could
what
have the
you think
conversation.
is the most loyal people in your this. And it should be the most loyal people. So there are two ways to look at it. One is the ones that you have been plonked here with, like your parents, your brother, sister, etc. You are just here and you have no option. That is one kind of family. And then there are the ones you make, your friends, okay, the people, well wishers, people who take care of you, even relatives, far away relatives who you really care about, can be called family. Now, what should a family do? Okay, it should nurture you in the sense of no matter who you consider family, does not matter blood or not, they should nurture you in the sense of they should basically take care of you and make sure that you grow in the right way. Okay, and not ensure that no harm comes to you, right?
No harm.
No harm should come to you. So, and they should let you experience life. Like they should leave you be. They should not control you. They should not try and push you down, trim you in any way. Go wild, see what life is. As long as you're safe, as long as the roots are not poisoned. Okay, just go, live like a tree. That is what a family should be. Most people are in this very trauma bonding experience, which we'll talk about in a minute. Now, many people, okay, have this love hate relationship with their family. There is this, they love them, but they also hate them. But most of them don't actually love them. Love here is just loyalty, okay, which they believe to be love. Now, how does this loyalty thing work? You guys go through traumas together,
The
right? A
point
crazy dad,
is,
or an absent dad, which is most
if
dads.
you had friends,
Then
you'd
there is
have
the
less
mother,
moments
or
of being
she
like,
could be
"What's the
crazy in a
point?" Because you'd
certain
be
way.
distracted.
Then there is a sibling who is lost something and is basically dysfunctional. So if most families are dysfunctional, what happens is you bond loyally at some level with all of them, in fact, because you just end up being loyal to them because of the stuff that you've gone through together. They're like historical friends. If you had met them today, you would not be friends. You would not like them. You would not, in fact, you all would be apathetic to each other. But because of the history, because of what you have gone together, you tend to develop a loyalty, which you call love. So it is not love hate, it is loyalty hate. You hate them for the trauma that they've given you, and you are loyal to them because they have pushed you through, or you have pushed them through certain horrible traumas in life. So it's called essentially trauma bonding, right? So that bonding is one way of looking at family, where you're trauma bonding with them. Another one is, another one is love
Says
hate. Another one is actually loyalty hate, which it
Ryan.
really
I
is.
agree.
Okay, then there are good families which nurture you, okay, and let you experience life. Then there are friends. So basically, you have to choose your family. Do you want a love hate one? Do you want a one that lets you live, that lets you enjoy? Okay, do you want both in different areas of your life? How do you want to handle this? All these things you need a certain consciousness of. Okay, we are here for our relationships, season one, which is our first subject, and episode three. So, we're going to talk about friendships in brief, of course. Friendships are basically what? They are things that happen over time. Okay, you meet someone, you vibe with them, you talk with them, and then it sort of builds up later. So, you start with the basic friendship, right? And then it becomes a different kind of friendship. So you meet someone when you're young, especially, and you just vibe with them, and they're like, "Oh, let's play cricket, let's do this, let's play football, baby, let's do things together." There is no exchange as such, except for an exchange of energy and an exchange of fun and stupidity and all. So then you grow up, And then you have different kinds of friendships. Okay, so you have business friendships. Okay, then you have historical friendships. Like these are the ones that you have. These are the kind of people that you have made friends with when you were a kid, but when you grew up, they were just there. Maybe you don't get along with them. If you had met them today, maybe you would not have gotten along with them. But they are historical friendships. They exist for a reason, because you have a past together, because you can discuss things together, and there are certain things that they understand that nobody else will understand. And maybe if you knew the historical friend since for 20 years and someone else for 20 years in a very different context, they would not understand each other's context. So understanding you, historical friends are extremely important for yourself, in the sense of understanding your childhood, in the sense of understanding what you did back then, etc., etc. Okay, then of course business friendships. I don't need to enunciate on this. Many friendships are business friendships, in the sense of we transact with certain people. Okay, we go down, we go meet the shopkeeper. That's kind of a business friendship. We talk about his life, but we're not really interested in him. He's not the friend that we need. It's just a way to pass time. It's a way to get curious about
What do you
someone's
mean
life
by
and
what
then
does
move
it
on.
mean by it?
Right, then you go first with your intense friendships. When you have intense friendships, that is when, from basic, you slowly go towards intense, where you guys vibe at a certain level, right? And over time there is a certain intensity that is there. So as we had discussed in the last energy part, right, where you start with a basic friendship, say you are a 6 and someone is a 4, and you all vibe very well, okay, and the energy room is very comfortable. And then when you get intense, you can go up to 15 in the energy room, but there's a constant intensity, and sometimes that intensity can get too much. Okay, there are some intense friendships which cannot last for more than 2 hours, in the sense of when you meet that person, after 2 hours you get tired of them, then you're like, okay, now I want to go home and sleep, or after 2 days you get tired of them, but you still love that friendship, you still miss that friendship. That is what an intense friendship is. Okay, and intense friendship can be continuous intensity also. It can be between a husband and wife, why not? Okay, so intense friendships are rather rare. And then of course there is the trust and need based
Oh,
friendship. So when you
twice
trust
a
somebody,
re
that is one
like
kind of
some
friendship where you're like, okay, I trust you with these number of things. And there's the other where,
sometimes
which
people
is
just say
need based,
re,
in the sense
man.
of they need something, you need something. Okay, try not to keep it one way. Now, trust and need, what is the exact difference here? When you trust somebody, right, you're trusting them with certain number of things. Do not trust just because someone is a friend. You cannot trust them with everything, because they may not be capable at certain things. They may not be able to do certain things well, and they may be able to do certain other things well. So remember, you have to categorize your friendships. You have to know who you can trust, who you love unconditionally, conditionally, etc. These are all different kinds of friendships, which we will discuss on love, liking, trust, etc. There are some friends you can live with. There are some friends you can't live with. There are some friends you go for coffee with. Okay, there are some friends you love or you get into a relationship with. Girl, boy, doesn't matter. Okay, so that these are various types of things. And in the next chapter, we will get into the percentages, how to
So, but this is
calculate these
Skyver,
things
shut
in
up.
your life.
No,
And
he
what
talks
happens is
nonstop,
you
my dude. He's gonna lecture right now about different types of friendships and how they manifest. Yeah, but I'll turn it off because we don't need to do that. When I was playing King Gizzard, I think it's gonna play Planet B or nah. This is Mars for the Rich. Space is the place for the human race. No, it's not. So, I guess we can watch some YouTube. I guess, yeah. I mean, it's just chatting with you right now, but we can get some conversation flowing by inspiring things. So I have nothing in particular I feel like talking about, as per usual. But you could also ask me anything, you know? I'm like, all I know is this goal, but how do we get to the goal? I don't even know. Well, first you need to get a majority of people on the planet to become ethilists, which is by just convincing folk through like conversation and spreading it through like activism, getting on the streets, being like, hey, this is what antinatalism is. You agree with it? Awesome. Then people get exposed to antinatalism and ephilism and veganism and all that jazz. Honestly, veganism is probably really important to spread also because the empathy of caring about animals really allows people to care about efilism and other of ideologies like that. Um, I don't know what else you would have to do. I mean, other than if you're like can convince like some scientists to start working on that and get like a fund to help them research like bioengineering to of infertility or uh super plagues. I don't fucking know, man. But yeah, there's ways. Just stuff we can do. If the majority of the planet gets on board, if we can just boom, we could just use nuclear weapons and pretty much just level the shit. I'll be honest then, we just wasting your time. Veganism takes over barely, so what's the chance of efilism? Well, veganism is kind of inconsistent, to be fair. Veganism is just like, oh, veganism is very deontological, and deontology is already silly. But it's correct in the sense that animals have like consciousness and can feel pain and stuff, so you should like not purchase things unnecessarily. But I think people are just not exposed enough. So like in the last 10 years, veganism's taken off quite a bit more than it has in like if you look at like the numbers now, like it's like on like a graph, you'd be like, oh shit, that really shot up in like the last 5, 10 years. So I mean, it's a lot of people are getting on board with things because of the internet and because people are like getting tired of the world not changing. So slow but surely, my dude, it's happening. I mean, I'm walking out there with the Ephesus sign saying "Birth is the catalyst to all suffering, death. Stop having kids," and I get people yelling through their car windows saying, "I 100% agree," and like "Me too," and stuff like that. So it's like people agree with us. They just don't have like a name for it. They don't know what it is. You know. No, people do, man. I've had like a bunch of random people who are graduating high school come up to me. Had like a dude in his 30s or 40s named Todd. He came up to me. And a bunch of people like randomly come up to me who are chill dudes they and ladies, and they're all chill and they want to either photos with me or have conversations with me, and they are in agreement for the most part. Like some of them fully in agreement, some of them for the most part in agreement. Went to door to door and talk to some people. So people are kind of woke. Some people are woke. It's just they're not woke enough to be out there doing what I'm doing. I mean, I don't know about the whole nukes thing, but hey, man, I'm not sure if they would agree in that, but some of them probably do. I think Todd might. Todd might agree with me. Todd's an ethicist. He definitely agrees we need to end the planet and he's pro-abortion and stuff. I'm not sure if Todd would agree about the nukes, but I wouldn't be surprised if Todd would be like, "Yeah, man, fuck that shit. Let's just save the future. Boom. Hope a solar flare hits this shit." I mean, how many? Like a few people, like three, four. Like not exactly. But that's like just in a local area. Maybe maybe like 10 to 20, maybe at most. I'd say even the local, like 10 to 20 within like half an hour drive of me, like that. Like that's many people. I mean, enough people who like to do a small militia. I'm saying. Not that we should be militia, because that's what you're trying to tell us to do. But what time to convey everybody with? What time until you convince everybody with efilism? Oh, never, never, my friend. I mean, when will I convince everybody? Never. Will I convince enough people to have a democracy vote and be like, "Hey, we should have someone in charge"? I don't know, man. Like, hopefully, if in the next 40, 50 years, once the planet starts to rot to shit and people become more aware of things and all the boomers die off. So, what we're saying is wasting time. No, we're setting up the foundations, my brother. We are the builders. We are just stepping stones for a bigger project. We're but a cog in the machine, just as there's no free will, and we're just a tiny bit of the deterministic nature of the universe as it starts to birth and deteriorate into entropy. Just as that is the thing, we are the cog in the machine of efilism, slowly spreading the ideology as it spreads like an infection that will eradicate all life on Earth and maybe even the system. Think it will survive into the future? Efilism? Efilism definitely will. Same with like antinatalism and pessimism. All those ideologies will exist into the future. They've existed for basically 2,000 years. They just didn't have a name put to them until the last 2 decades. So all who are logical will be convinced eventually. All people who are rational and could be convinced of rational things will be convinced, which I think is enough. Which is like 50 to 25 to 50% of the people will be convinced for sure, and I think potentially more once the majority start to get convinced, because people are just the people who felt internal monologues eventually will just kind of be like bred into or not bred into existence, but they'll be like conforming to whatever's mainstream. And so I think eventually a majority of people will be ethilists. It'll just take a long time because it's the truth, man. If it's the truth, it's the truth, and the truth eventually becomes what's majority, but it just takes a while. Slavery didn't stop overnight, you know. Didn't stop in one or two lifetimes. It stopped in multiple lifetimes, and it's because multiple efforts that it eventually got a foothold, and someone made a revolutionary movement, and it was like, yeah. I'm talking about like 25 realize efilism. I don't know. I'm just talking about like 25 in the local area, bro. But like, plenty of people that are like in the whole world, bro. There's more people in the Middle East that are ethilists than in Wisconsin. So can 25 people realize it? I don't know, man. Maybe. Can 25 people realize that the value of pain is what's the most important thing in the universe? Maybe. Can they put it into action? I mean, it was pretty easy for me to become a vegan and an activist, so, and streamer. So, I mean, I think people can do it if they really want to, if they really try. I mean, it's not that hard for me, and I'm not exactly the most sociable person on the planet, and I was able to do it. So if I can do it, other people can surely do it as well, you know? So, can 25 people do extinction? Maybe. I mean, probably not, but I mean, if they engineered a virus that somehow targeted all mammalian life, then it would eliminate most of the biosphere. But I don't think it would be able to extinct all life. Uh, so I don't know if a single group of 25 people could do anything of that nature, my dude. 25 would be quite a stretch for an extinction level event, unless those 25 were like government workers who were completely on board with it and had a bunch of power and nukes and tech and shit like that, or if the guy was just like built like a bio bot that could like self reproduce by eating biological matter and then just kind of unleashed it into the world, then potentially one or two people could easily destroy the planet. But 25 years? Oh, I mean, I thought you were talking about like right away. Yeah, I mean, 25 people can spread it to 25 more people, and then those people can spread it to 25 more people. And I'm just talking about like 25 people in like a local area. So how can So, I mean, yeah, I mean, hopefully, if other people actually do what I'm doing and try to spread the ideology, they can get like 25 people within their lifetime, and which is more probably than that. Like, I mean, I've probably convinced like maybe one person this year, maybe two, or at least got people thinking about it. So it's just kind of like if you can do that, well, two people every year, and they can do that two people every year, and and you already got 25 people. That's quite a bit, decade or whatever. Um, if we accept unethical friends, aren't we spineless? Sounds less of a question and more just like you calling me spineless for having unethical friends. And I would just say, what does that mean? How are you going to convince people if you're already friends with them and you stop being friends with them just because they're just going to continue being and the I don't have individual friends. I am a psychopath. Remember that. I form friend groups. I unite people together and meld them together. If I just like I'm done talking to you guys because you're not vegans and you don't want to blow up the planet, lol, haha. That's gonna make them just look at me like they're not gonna be like, oh wow, I really value him as a friend, so therefore I ought to, you know, continue trying to pursue this knowledge. No, they're gonna be like, what the fuck, this guy is insane. Why would he? Well, oh, how is it going, Mustafa? Just another YouTuber is being American psycho over here and trying to convince me that we should abandon all friends and discussion with people and just, yeah, as usual. Honestly, I guess I'm bad with friends even if they are effortless. I mean, hop. I'll join after some Wim Hof breathing. Understandable. Guess I just don't find much point no more. I mean, you can find purpose, my home slice. You just got to do activism and stuff and actually I don't know what you do with your life other than, bitch, but no offense. But when it comes down to it, if you're doing activism and stuff, you're doing more than you give yourself credit for. And if you're not doing activism, well, then start doing activism, my boy, and you'll probably feel a little better. So, you'll be lucky to convince 1% of them. And to be honest, all you need to do is convince 1% of them. Because guess what? Blasting my brains out prevents all my suffering and maybe like suffering for like what like not really. I mean it prevents my suffering and it also like destroys a bunch of animals and crop fields, which isn't really that bad. So like I guess like really when it comes down to it, it prevents my suffering and like prevents some other excess suffering of like we're talking friendships. What is the point? Oh well, when it comes to friendships, the point is because I don't see the point in camaraderie. Well, here's the thing. All I see is point is in camaraderie. Oh, okay. Camaraderie is point, but not friendship. No, I mean, I see what you mean. I just disagree with that because biologically speaking, we're programmed to be social creatures. So we're going to want to have friends. We're going to want people to have respect us and have our back, regardless of political alignment. Um, it's just a beneficial thing to have such people in your life people that will have your back solely because of dumb monkey instincts and less because of prime actual value reasonings behind it. And all I can say to that is, if you don't want to be depressed like you are, and thinking about like these homicidal thoughts like you are, you probably want people in your life that you generally care about and view as being worthy of being treated with respect as humans. Well, you probably should try to bother with it if you want to convince people of efilism. You kind of have to be able to have, kosher discussions with people like like I'm having with you right now, without just being like, "Fuck you, you're homicidal, blah 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 blah. Why should I take your opinion seriously? You say X, Y, Z." It's like, no. Instead, I'm being like, even if I disagree with you on this, I'm gonna have this conversation with you. And if you don't have that ability to do that, then I mean, I actually feel fine today. That's great. I'm glad you're feeling groovy. Yeah, feeling groovy is great. But yeah, when it comes down to it, I mean, if you can't converse with people in a kosher manner, where you're just like going back and forth, having a discussion, pontificating together without getting too angry, to the point where it's like no longer a discussion and it's just anger, it's just gonna cause conflict. Well, here's the thing: not all discussions cause conflict. I get into arguments with people all the time. Arguments can be productive. Arguments don't have to be bad. Arguments can be good so long as you're not screaming at each other. If you're using actual points and talking about the subject, then it's fine. If they start to stray off subject and be dickheads, then you can be a dickhead also. I don't want to terrorize people. I mean, it depends on what you mean by terrorize people. I mean, if you look like some Frankenstein's monster and you're like holding a sign being like, blow up the planet, it might be a little scary. But if you're just like a dude that looks normal and you're just like, hey, stop having kids, and people are like, oh, why do you want to have people stop having kids? And then you give your basic antinatalist, ethicist reasoning behind it, negative utilitarianism, consent reasons, opposition reasons, whatever. I'm gonna be talking nukes. Well, if you want to be talking nukes, I mean that's fair, but you'll probably be looked at as crazy. Yes, fair. Um, I don't know. I mean, pitch me a speech. Like, if you were to like hold up a sign, what would it say? It is interesting that the more IQ you have, the more depressed you are. Indeed, I'm not exactly the smartest person in the world. I'm pretty much just average intelligence, but it doesn't, as and Amendum says slash Gary, whatever his name is. You don't exactly need to be the most intelligent person in the world to understand efilism, to understand pain and pleasure, and just adding them together. It's basic math. It just happens that I'm a psychopath, and due to this luxury of the mind, it's plagued me my whole life. I get the benefit essentially of just not giving a shit. And due to not giving a shit, I kind of like see things from a more objective standpoint. And that basically allows me to like see how miserable everybody's lives are, despite and all the illusions that they put up, and how people are constantly lying to themselves every single day. And so yeah, I just been aware of that for a long, long, long time. But when it comes down to it, you don't need a ton of IQ to understand that this whole thing's a fucking bullshit game, and everybody's just playing it. So you just need to have very much. You just have to have very keen awareness of social dynamics. Less IQ, more just social awareness. But if you have IQ, it helps too. Or if you have like a really miserable life, then obviously you're gonna be fucking feeling it. So You know, you either have to have high social IQ where you're able to feel things that the other people are having going on in their life and understand it like I do. You have to either be very, very smart, like someone like Benatar, which I mean, Benatar is from South Africa. South Africa's kind of shithole, so I mean, fair enough. Or you have to be someone who's lived a miserable life and just enveloped in pain and, witnessed other people that they care for being in pain and be like, this is not justified. and being like bing bang boom, it clicks. So they go through major amounts of pain and then they somehow justify it with like God and stuff. Those people are idiots because they're just letting biology fool themselves. You said to talk efilism with them. I wouldn't be calm with such a discussion. I mean, you can easily be calm with the discussion. I mean, my channel has been pretty much calm. I haven't really got angry on here, and it's pretty much just efilism and me gaming and stuff. Most angry I've been on this channel is me gaming, basically, and that's not even me doing efilism. Or try some binaural beats. Oh, fair enough. Hell yeah. But no, I mean, the most angry I've got on this channel is about gaming, and my Wi-Fi starts lagging, and I just start getting pissed off because the internet's dying. I get more angry at the video games than I do when I'm talking about philosophy. Just because, I mean, perhaps just a perk of being a psychopath, but I don't really get very angry at things very often, unless, well, I get frustrated and I get like annoyed at things quite often, but angry is not very often. Howdy, Seb.
I did some Wim Hof breathing and later I'll try some binaural beats again.
Oh yeah. I was going. You were on the stream earlier today with Do Not Watch.
Yep. Yeah, that's right.
How much longer did that go after I left?
Yeah, I left. I wasn't done the entire time, but it went on for a bit.
Yeah, I had to leave because I was playing D&D with some friends, so I dipped out. But yeah, it was just fun while it lasted. It was a good conversation, I guess, kind of. It was interesting. It was fun.
Yeah, there are the usually guests, like. But I have a b- yeah, like with perpetual pleasurist and autistic spasticus and the Doom guy, the Doom wizard, and Reagan and Nick. Those recurring people are fun to talk to, and then there is the latest person that joins. Um, the Prophet.
Oh, fuck that guy. I knew you were gonna bring him up. Yeah, fuck that guy.
I have a feeling the Prophet would be one of. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe I'm. Yeah, obviously, he's an atheist, but I was an atheist once too, and I guess over you and over every anti-natalist. Perhaps he'll come around, but it's unlikely.
Yeah, I don't see him ever changing his mind. He's into like eugenics and shit like that. Like he's like, "Yo, my genes are great," and I'm like, "Yo, have you seen yourself in the mirror, bud?" It's like, I don't know. He's definitely into like eugenics and thinks that he's like has some great gene in himself, so that he is worth spreading. So, yeah, he's a lost cause, kind of.
Yeah, it's a bit unlikely that he'll become. I'll give it like a one in a millionth, maybe.
Yeah, probably one in a million.
Yeah.
Maybe it'll click someday if someone he loves just gets like terminal cancer and then gets like a diagnosis of like, oh, you're cured, and then they get hit by a car, and then it's like, oh shit, the world's just brutal as fuck. Maybe that'll make it hit and snap in his brain, but unlikely. So knowing him, he'll just be like, oh well, gotta replace her or him, and just pop out another one. So yeah, D-Profit, if you're hearing this, fuck you. No, I'm kidding. Just kidding.
Yeah, I don't know what the deal like. Why would someone like the Prophet want to hang around with a bunch of doomers? I think so. I have no clue.
Hmm.
What does he see in us doomers that are so interesting? Is it some kind of mockumentary for him or something?
I mean, kind of, yeah, he's a troll. So, I mean, you can see it from the way he communicates, he's a troll. So, it's pretty much just a joke, I imagine.
Oh, yeah, seems about right. Like talking about like slaughtering cows in the, or not, maybe not slaughtering them, but he talked about like sawing cows in half in the stream, in the stream chat.
Yeah. Not exactly the most kosher. Hmm. So you said you're gonna listen to some binaural beats?
Yes.
Are you listening to them right now, or?
No, I would if I had headphones that could connect to the PC too. Then I would do it while I was talking, or while I
Ah,
talked. I was reading this manga today. I'm not sure if you heard of it, but it's called Ashita no Joe.
Ashita Nojo. No, I don't think so.
And it's the one from it ran from 1968 to 1972. It follows this boxer called Joe Jabeki.
I have a bunch of manga in my room. I can go and show you my manga collection.
I've read it uh, a bunch of times, and now I'm reading it again. I'm starting with the Carlos Rivera fight.
Hmm. Bear fight. That's super cool. Do you like to read a bunch of manga, or are you more of just like a casual reader at this point where you don't really read manga very
Casual
often?
reader, like every once in a while, but I don't read that much stuff like manga.
Fair enough. I have a bunch of manga, but I don't really read many. Just tons of them that I have to still read. But a lot of these are. This is all manga right here, and it's a little bit of manga up there. Some Neon Genesis Evangelion, and another. I'm gonna have to read this one pretty soon. No longer human.
I thought you might have heard about Ashita no Joe since it's one of the most famous mangas there is.
Yeah, Junji Ito. Yeah, it's exquisite. It's probably my favorite book is the original No Longer Human, and they turned it into a manga, so I'm just like, yo, I gotta read this shit. It is.
Yeah, I, I tend to find stuff on a site called Manga Dex. If I want to watch a show, I'll either Netflix or look to movie. look to maybe it's like a free streaming thing where I can watch stuff totally for free.
Nice.
Um, no longer human on Magadex. There's multiple versions. No longer human. Ito GMG. No
Yeah,
longer human. Furio. Maybe I should just take the highest rated thing. Mm.
I recommend the Junju Ito one. That one's quite good, I've heard.
I'm not. In case you want to talk about some ethics stuff, I'm
Yeah.
not sure what topic to talk about, but yeah, I guess you can pick one topic you'd like to talk about this for this time.
Hmm. What do you think is controversial and worth discussing?
Like what I think is controversial or worth discussing.
Yeah, to the people watching, do you have anything you wish we would discuss?
Oh yeah, yeah. I had this in mind. It like as much as I like the bug euthanasia stuff. Don't you think, from an atheist perspective, that just coming across again they see is a big euthanasia video, it does for a person not knowing any better, it does look like the person squashing the bug is some complete psycho or something. But it's the opposite. Or I guess for from I guess you might be a psychopath, but it does look like a Patrick Bateman character or something, squashing the bug on
Just
YouTube. But it's probably for the best anyway, since when one takes into consideration how hard it is to convince people, and if a bunch of people can just squash bugs and stuff and make shorts out of it might make people more aware, even if it isn't even if it isn't the best first impression. If it makes people aware, then if they would otherwise not have been aware, then it is better for people to not make. I mean, then it's better for people to make shorts, I guess. I thought about making a T-shirt of of like the bug squashing things.
I know I
Bleak
don't do,
bug T-shirts.
don't do that.
Uh,
It'd be a waste of time. Though I appreciate it. You should make if you want to make one that might sell quite good, you should make like one that's like a F-list one with like a DNA helix or something like that. With you should mix like your band name on it or something. You try to
what I guess we haven't talked about stuff like end goal stuff, like transhumanism, like David Pierce's. We have CRISPR technology, gene editing, versus just blowing up the world.
yeah. I mean, if we could
Like,
like purely blow up the world, that'd be awesome. But if it was a risk that we wouldn't be able to wipe out all species, I'd say we should do both. Then we should gene edit things pretty much to extinction and then blow up the planet.
The reason I don't think David Pierce's view will come through is two things. People don't care about important stuff, and I think even if it was possible to do some CRISPR technology and make beings not experience suffering, then I think even if their genes were completely changed and their neurology were changed, I think they could still perhaps evolve to feel pain in the future, given enough time. That's what I think.
That's true. Given random mutation, pain could reemerge. You'd think avoidance features would probably reemerge if there were benefits for it, which given if we allow animals to exist in the wild, they're gonna want to be able to reproduce. So unless you make them like infertile and then give them the pain remedy, so they all die out within a generation, which shouldn't be in favor of, but I would also see no difference between that and like just like deleting them from existence. So yeah, I mean, David Pierce, I think, just is like kind of trying to work within the means of capitalism, but I don't think it's for the best.
Yeah, if one talks about something like how nature is bad, one gets looked at like one is incredibly strange. People are not used to thinking of the world as something bad, and uh, about the thing with beings being evolved to yeah, once they have this CRISPR technology, if they evolve evolve to feel pain again, the pain might come back even stronger and more potent than ever before. And I just see it happening again since human can't be around forever to help the animals. So if humans go extinct, then animals experience pain and evolve to feel pain yet again, then it might have been not only for nothing, but it might have been just better if humans didn't interfere and did all that to begin with. If they will come back and feel, if the pain receptors will come back yet again.
Yeah, you definitely have a point there. Yeah, I think there's many risks to transhumanism. That's why I don't really approve of it. Like that is one risk. The risk of simulations and like bringing multiple worlds of beings into pain and stuff like that. So transhumanism is just as risky business. You can generate far more pain than ever was possible. So like sheer like mental links and stuff like that would be interesting. But I think at the same time it could be like cause a lot of pain and suffering and depression, psychosis and stuff like that.
Yeah, but about blowing up the world, it's not. I don't see it happening ever,
Hmm.
unless some kind of extremely genius scientist comes up with just something in a lab, but I don't see it happening.
I don't really know how we'd go about that either. I mean, I've heard people talk about like vacuum decays and stuff like that. I don't really know if it has any validity, but hopefully there's a way. I mean, I feel like Yeah, I don't know the best way, but I feel like in the end, inevitably, we have to kind of do something to make the biosphere get ruined, and so life will never spring up again, at least in a sentient form. I think like blowing up a planet in terms of radiation, not like literally blowing up, it's like shattering a planet like Death Star style, but like blowing up the planet isn't like spreading a radiation and biological bombs around the planet would be the best way to do that once you've eliminated most sentient life from the Earth through gene editing, basically.
Yeah, so one can use both, like make the beings like impotent and not impotent. I mean sterile,
Yeah,
or yeah, that's and yeah, but I see the majority voting for there being cruelty on Earth. So I don't think one can just gene edit a bunch of animals. I think that it has to be a group of a few scientists just doing something in a lab or something and then finding one way to blow up the world. But it's most likely going to be found out by someone.
hopefully we can do something with like fusion bombs or some shit, just like boom, big explosion. Instead of fission, because fusion generates far more energy.
Something it sucks that people are if want it's yeah, I've talked about that like wildlife animals should be like sterilized and stuff, and I've gotten very strange looks, but they are the ones that should feel some shame because they are clearly don't know about what the wildlife animals has to go through, like the hyenas and in Africa and even in the Arctic circles and the deserts in all kinds of areas. It's bad stuff.
Pretty much, yeah. It's not good anywhere. The Antarctic is still the only place on the Earth that's good because there's nothing living there.
What about the penguins? Or
Oh yeah, you're right. Penguins do live there. Maybe it's the North
but
Pole I'm thinking of.
a lot of them even freeze to death. I saw this documentary where they have to cling together to keep warm, and it's really cold.
Hmm.
So they go in this group, and some of the penguins has to be in
The outside.
yeah, like outside of, not in the middle of the group trying to keep warm, and then they freeze to death and stuff.
Tragic. Do be. It's nature, man. There's thousands of them. I mean, it sucks if you're that penguin, and just as my $5 is like that. Yeah, I mean, yeah, I mean, there's just so many of them. I mean, given primordialism, it's probably better to be a penguin that dies by freezing to death than be the one who's gonna be cold and starving the next day and having to dive into the water and do it all over again. But still, it's a shitty cycle. It's a brutal cycle.
S- Still, I something I also disagree with you on. I don't know if being eaten alive by bear is preferable to continuing to exist. It's like yeah, it so yeah, hopefully a lot of the time one has a lot of adrenaline, but even that won't be enough to dampen the pain a lot. But I guess it depends on the individual and on their life and what they will experience in their life and the type of bear attacks.
I mean, yeah, I suppose. I mean, I just don't really think that death will be pleasant no matter what, unless I mean, so it's just kind of like various degrees of how unpleasant the death will be, you know. And it kind of just seems like bear attack, like right now, or heart attack in 40 years, plus all the pain that is going to be included in that time between now and then. So yeah, I don't know, man. I feel like the bear attack might be just, less pain overall if you add it all together.
Perhaps humans tends to bleed out faster than other animals, like buffaloes and zebras and rhinos and animals like that. They are more robust. It takes a while before they bleed out,
Hmm.
and it's a detriment to the consciousnesses that inhabit these animals. Like from the videos one can see of them being attacked, it takes a long time before they bleed out, and but with humans they bleed out much faster.
Yeah, or endurance
I
or
was going to make some kind of point with that, but I'm not sure what I was going to say exactly.
nah, that's alright. Hmm. Let's look in the comments section. I don't want to be nuked unless I'm not aware of it. Well, I would be okay if being nuked, even if I mean it would probably scary, but I'd be like, I wouldn't want to be nuked while aware of it. Like I prefer to be unaware and then be vaporized instantly than know but be vaporized. But like if I had to choose being aware of being vaporized or like go live another 50 years, I'd be like, I choose vaporization, bro. That's purely from like a selfish perspective. From a ethical perspective, I'd be forced to choose to live on and do my duty as an egalitarian and antinatalist activist.
Nukes has the potential to be like painless if one is in very close proximity to the nuke, but then if one is outside,
Yeah, radiation
they're,
poisoning is horrible.
they're outside a bit of where it hits, then there's the radiation poison.
Which is like the worst way a person can go. Like you quite literally, your DNA breaks down and then you just fall apart while you're alive.
Something I saw, yeah, so when one has these views and comes to the conclusion that none of us are really safe, like the most unexpected thing can happen to anyone, and none of us are safe.
Hmm.
And if none of us are safe, then how do we deal with that if we have the knowledge that none of us are safe?
Hmm. How do
Do
you
we
deal with
just
that
try
knowledge?
to distract ourselves?
Basically, just to distract yourself from the fact that at any moment you could just be struck down, and the probability says, it makes almost no difference. So it's to some people, but in reality, it's a minor difference. And yeah, it's kind of an existential dread, knowing that you can just die at any moment. But just gotta vibe with the chaos, Just be like, could also stumble across $100 bill. You never know. Probably not, but it's more likely I'll get vaporized than stumbling across a $100 bill. But you never know.
So lately I've been thinking about my grandparents, and I was thinking, what the hell did they actually do? Those for some reason, I'm not sure why, but it's like my mind is blaming it entirely on my grandparents, or instead of my parents or something. It had me here. I'm thinking about my grandparents, and it's kind of strange because it's both. It's my if there was any fault, it would be my parents, my grandparents, my great grandparents. Not sure I'm really thinking about them that much. But yes, something I've had thought about today. So people make these arguments that no, if determinism is true, then no one really deserves any bad things happening to them. I thought about that, and but then I thought, but even if determinism wasn't true, if free will was real, I don't think anybody would deserve any bad thing happening to them.
Oh
Still,
yeah,
what argument would one make that people should experience bad things because had free will and did something bad? I don't see any good arguments people could make to that.
me neither. I mean, I'm a negative utilitarian, so it's as simple as just like measuring pain. Causing pain for no reason is not really going to be beneficial. So
Yeah, I wanted to talk. I want to talk about it with the do not watch stream that. Uh,
hmm,
yeah, so people has to say this, and when it comes to their enemies, and it's really useful if to have that if one has to defend oneself. I think that's why it came to be like some kind of hatred, sadism and hatred and stuff. It came from our need to fight against enemies, and having sympathy or feeling bad for enemies is only going to slow down us down in some kind of self-defense scenario. Um, and even when people are don't have this life-threatening enemy, if they're hostile with someone, it's even enough to decrease sympathy a lot. And if someone does something bad, and they from that evolutionary perspective, from that evolutionary reason, they want that person to be punished, the sadism thing, and that leads to them having the illusion that it's good for their enemies to be punished. Like there's something for some for without they can't really explain it or come up with some kind of good reasoning why it's good for their enemies to be punished. It just is that way for them. Kind of how it is. it's self-evident for them that life is good, and one can't question the goodness of life.
Yeah, man. I mean, I don't question like the goodness per se of like. I mean, I think you should question the goodness of life because like a lot of the good is really just pain relief. I don't think we need to really question the good of life. We don't really want to. We just need to question the if it's worth it, if the good's worth the bad, basically.
Oh
And
yeah,
people don't do that.
I was when I said that I don't question the goodness of life. I was not meaning they just
Yeah.
don't question the life, like they think life like almost always is worth it to the beings being born.
Hmm.
They don't question it. That's what I was going that was meant, but I
No, I got
guess
you
it
now.
could have
Yeah.
been interpreted in many ways.
Nah, it's okay. 11 people are watching. What the fuck?
But that's because I was actually you had me on the show, right? And I was
Yeah.
just talking so much that they just had to come on and check what I was saying.
Yeah. Apparently,
Is 11 people watching? I only see one person on YouTube, or is
there's
it on Facebook or Twitch?
10 people on Twitch watching, though none of them are really English. Are you all antinatalists? Are you all efilis? No, there's 11 people watching me. Okay. Anyways, yeah, let's talk about antinatalism and efilis. Uh, yeah, basically, I'm an efilis, so is Seb here. Seb's a rock star, my dude. He has his own little band he's in. It's pretty dope. Uh, it's your chance to convince them to go. Basically, we're just trying to spread the idea that it is wrong to procreate, to bring new beings into existence. I don't understand your language, unfortunately, but they're
Arcakt B. Yeah, but now I can't even pronounce the letters. Yeah, it's one of those spots like
yeah, it's
bringing popularity to the channel or whatever, and
yeah, I appreciate that, I guess, person, but I also don't care about bots. Bots don't change the minds of people. I mean, maybe it attracts more people to the channel. People are watching me, which then I appreciate it, I guess. But I mean, I don't know if that's how it works.
yeah,
So
I think if I were one of the first thing I would say if I were to convince someone was that if they thought about the reasoning behind them being a natalist or something, some reasoning behind it, and thought deeply about it for a time, it would just be something that uh, f- f- they they wouldn't be able to say much other than most people like life and um, or being or something like that. Pleasure out with suffering.
yeah, I'd probably have
But
to
then,
ask.
even if most people like life, uh, even if that were true, Thus, are there some scenarios in there for them where most people could not, where most people could like something, but it could still not be okay?
Hmm. Yeah, the old classic of all your friends decide to jump off a bridge. Would you do it also? And most people who are logical will be like, no, I wouldn't do that. So yeah, makes sense. I don't know how to like get that to click in people's brains, so 'cause apparently it doesn't make sense for everybody somehow. Hmm. What is that scratchy sound? Says just another YouTuber. I don't know. It's not me though.
Scratching sound?
Yeah. Yeah, that noise.
What noise?
Hmm. Is your mic like brushing up against something or?
No, I don't think so. What if I do this? Is there some?
There's a little bit. Maybe it's just like rocking
Like
back and
I
forth.
was actually scratching my hand. It could be that, like
Ah,
this.
nah, I don't know.
I'm
It
not sure.
was. I could hear you scratching your hand. It's a different noise. I don't know. It's not. It doesn't really bother me, but I guess it's bothering just another YouTuber. But
Then the solution to that is to take an anesthetic
exactly.
substance.
Sorry, just another YouTuber. It looks like you should take an anesthetic and just take a chill pill, bro.
I guess if one asks people what what they value, and yeah, a large chunk of what they value is like the prevention of pain, but they also have the belief that a lot of pleasure can outweigh intense suffering too. So if there was some kind of way to convince people that intense, a reliable way that could work a lot of the time to convince them why
Gang bangs. I don't know.
pleasure could outweigh the most intense suffering, then that would be a good one.
Maybe like the concept of like a gang bang or something like that, like a bunch of people running a train on one person. Like they're
Yeah,
just
I
very part
thought
of it.
about that. Guinness used to make that point sometimes, but
It also seems a little harsh and cruel and like derogatory, like disgusting to describe. And people be like, "Why would you say such a thing?" And it's like, well, because it's true. It's
yeah, but
one for people.
one is like trying to, yeah, one is actually trying, even if it's kind of an ugly thing to bring up, one is trying to prevent such things.
From occurring. Yeah.
So, yeah. But um, yeah, that's. But they would say something like, "Oh, but life is different somehow because most people wouldn't." But there is actually a high likelihood of getting like sexually assaulted. Unfortunately,
Yeah.
depends on the country, but one could bring up that, I guess, some statistics and stuff that can happen, like 1 in 4 chances of getting cancer. Not sure the statistic for rape in the US, but
I can
it's
look it
like
up.
about 10% or for women or and a bit lower for men.
It says 1 in 5 women in the United States completed or attempted rape during their lifetime. So 1 in 5 women are apparently attempted and raped.
Okay,
1 through
1 in 5,
victim.
that's uh, more than I thought actually.
Yeah.
I always thought that it's for women they have these Q merges. They have to try to satisfy the Q merges, but in order to do so, they have to put their trust in a lot of strangers and strangers that are men, and just hope that. And a lot of them aren't too aware of the statistics of how likely stuff like that is. I believe maybe some are, but chooses to take the risks anyway. Not sure,
True. Who really know?
but
Hmm. It is estimated that 734,000 people were.
I wonder if parents just have this talk with. I have this feeling that parents they don't really tell them statistics like that. I guess most people don't know exact statistic, but maybe it would be helpful if parents just told their sons and daughters you have about a 1 in 5 chance of having attempted rape or something being
Yeah.
done on you.
I mean, that'd probably give them a lot of anxiety, but it'd probably prevent a lot of people from having kids.
Yeah.
Probably make the awareness of that go up a lot, though. So that's a good thing. I mean, I'd rather people know than not know, I guess. What time is it? Well, I think I'm gonna close the stream out here for a little bit. I might start it up again a little bit later, but I'm gonna close it out for a little bit here.
Okay.
Anything last things you want to say for this section of the stream?
He guilty. He guilty how?
Fuck yeah, fuck yeah. I'm in, my dude. You have a good day or night.
Take care.
Thank you.